Hello, hello, hello.
What's good, sis?
Hey,
Happy Friday.
Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right?
Man, shout out to J&J Video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the sister's channel. Take your shoes off.
That's right. Make sure you hit that like button, gang. We are back in the studio with we got DZ on the party panel with us today. And we are gonna be listening to Before You Are a Badass by author Jen Sincero. And a little bit of history on Jen Sincero. She actually was pretty much a regular, everyday person like the rest of us. But she decided one day that she was going to go ahead and take the bull by the horns and get her life together. You know what I mean? And in doing that, uh-oh. She ended up becoming a huge success, and she ended up getting a on the bestseller list, basically. You know what I mean? With this book. So I think it's probably one of her greatest achievements. And I listened to it and I fell in love with it. And I figured, you know what? We got to do a stream listening to that book. So, and DZ, you've been listening to it with us the past couple days, right? Some of it
Yeah,
here and there. What do you think about it so far?
I think it's great. I mean the knowledge that she empowers upon all of us. A lot of us may think that it's things that we're supposed to already know, but the general population, you know they don't practice those things. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to to listen to somebody that has already done it, but somebody that can tell you exactly um you know to kind of like do what you pretty much practice what you preach, pretty much, because she
Yeah.
pretty much tells you, like, don't say what I do, but pretty much do what I say, pretty much, and it's those are very powerful lessons that she provides in this book and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm she comes from a place of humility as well, because she's been through
Yeah.
it, you know what I mean? So she,
Yeah.
the fact that she's coming from that sort of place, I truly like that. So I've really enjoyed the series, and I'm looking forward to today's. How about you?
Cool. Same,
Yeah,
same.
yeah, yeah.
So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on, and we are gonna go ahead and I'm gonna see if I can't figure out where we left off
Mhm.
yesterday. Yeah, I think we're up in here. Yeah. All right, so we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off, guys. Those of you in the chat, welcome. Welcome to Party Over Here. And hopefully you guys enjoy today. I want to try to really finish it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's possible. So there's about an hour left of it. We're gonna go ahead and listen to that hour and then we'll discuss it after. And then feel free to jump in. Do something moves you, my brother? Feel free to jump in and react to it like I normally do.
No problem.
No problem. While the book's playing. So cool beans. Here we go.
This is because other people are like mirrors for us. It bugs you. You're projecting onto them something you don't like about yourself. They're reflecting back something that you see in yourself that you like, even if it's not developed in you yet. I know this sounds like I'm making a mass generalization, but just stay with me here. Your reality is created by what you focus on and how you choose to interpret it.
Don't we
This
know
goes
it?
for everything, including the things you focus on about the people in your world. For example, depending on who you are, you could react in a myriad of different ways to your new boyfriend or girlfriend constantly referring to you as the giant dumbass. You could A, see this as a red flag and think they're a bully. B, see this as a red flag and think they're nervous or insecure and have terrible manners. C, see this as a green light because they're in so much pain that they need to abuse other people. They really need someone as understanding as I am. D, see this as a green light because you believe that you are, in fact, a giant dumbass. Or E, think it's hilarious because it doesn't resonate with you. The people you surround yourself with are excellent mirrors for who you are and how much or how little you love yourself. We attract people into our lives for a reason, just as they attract us into theirs. We all help each other grow and figure out our issues if we seize the opportunity to learn from instead of just react to, by getting defensive or justifying our actions or whining about, the highly irritating things other people do. It's our annoying friends or family members or clients or neighbors or lady on the train with a voice like a bullhorn who help us grow and see who we truly are, even more than our beloved BFFs do, unless they're being momentarily annoying, and then we can thank them too. Don't miss the glorious opportunity to learn that's being handed to you by the person whose mouth you'd really love to stick your fist in.
Would you say that?
Oh, JJ, can I add what she said? Like, because that was so true in regards to interpreting what people tell you about yourself. Like, it's so powerful because you can choose pretty much how you interpret things from what people say. You know what I mean? And if depending on what they tell you, I mean, like if you feel heard about what they say, you can either choose to use what they say and take it to your advantage and become a stronger, a bigger person, or you just put it on the side and say that just act as if it's just completely irrelevant to you. I mean, I think that was powerful because a lot of times we take things that people tell us so seriously that we allow it to affect us negatively. If we don't,
Right.
yeah, if we don't agree with what they say and everything, we just let it go and we just put it on the side. I mean, it's harder to do, but I mean, those are really true words. Too many
Yeah.
times we've fallen victim to that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. That's a good point, DZ. I totally agree with you, and she makes a lot of good points like that.
The things that bother us about other people bother us because they remind us of something we don't like about ourselves. Or their behavior triggers
That's
a fear
huge.
or insecurity that we have, but may not realize we have. For the longest time, one of my big stories was that being feminine was weak and annoying. Somewhere along the way, I decided that it wasn't cool or powerful to act like or be a girl. And my feminine self became part of me that I was ashamed of. Hence, I was much less threatened by women who came at me with a power drill than women who came at me with an eyebrow pencil. Which is why it's pretty hilarious to me still that one of my best friends is as girly as they get. I met her when we were working
I totally relate.
together.
I was going to say.
Because she's hilariously brilliant and sweet and did a flawless impression of one of our coworkers walking down the hall with his ass sticking out that always left me doubled over clinging to furniture. Unlike me, however, she's a lover of girls' nights out and mani-pedi dates, an eager ogler of engagement rings when summoned by the fluttering hand of a soon-to-be bride, and a pro at the girly girl gang greeting. Arms raised high in the air, head back, eyes squeezed shut, high-pitched, "Oh my God!" for all to hear. For this, we call her Pink. A decade later, I'm living in Los Angeles, and Pink is living outside New York City, married with a bunch of kids. Natch. When she decides to take her first solo vacation since becoming a mom and heads to San Diego to see her best friend from college, she calls and begs me to drive down to see her. I agree, somewhat begrudgingly. It wasn't the 2-hour drive that bothered me, but the best friend from college, who I'd never met but was sure was pinker than Pink. I imagined a full-on sorority scene, complete with painting our toenails while having a Meg Ryan movie fest and talking about how fat we'd gotten.
Wow.
But I love Pink, so off I went. Meanwhile, down in San Diego, Pink's best friend from college is less than thrilled at the prospect of Pink's best gal pal from her New York City days driving down from LA. Her eyes were also rolling at the potential estrogen bomb. So imagine our delight when we discovered that we were both equally as macho. Once we realized that the playing field wasn't as overwhelmingly pink as we feared it would be, however, we got the biggest surprise of all. Our inner, neglected girls felt safe to come out of hiding. All three of us lost our voices that weekend, cackling and screaming, "Oh my God!" for all to hear. I wouldn't be surprised if a toenail or two even got painted. Don't remember. Was too drunk on wine spritzers. I'm still not the most enthused member of a bridal shower, and I'm not saying that you have to come around and like everything in this world that bothers you, but I am saying that if you actively don't like something, it's because it resonates with you on some level, has meaning to you. When you find yourself dealing with someone who irritates you, and you find yourself getting gossipy, finger pointy, judgy, or complainy, rising up and confronting the situation can do a hell of a lot more than just make your life more pleasant in the long run. It can help you heal and grow and get out of victim mode because it forces you to deal with the gnarlier aspects of yourself, the parts that make you not so proud. None of us care to admit that we're dishonest, insecure, unethical, mean, bossy, lazy, etc. But that's what attracted you to the people you notice it in, and them to you in the first. And admitting is the first step in letting it go. If people are annoying in a way to do with us, we either it or we don't get that hung up on it. For example, say someone in your life who you find to be an insufferable know-it-all. Every time you open your mouth to talk about something you did, she says she's already done it.
Oh my God, wait a minute. Remember in the Discord not too long ago? It was me, you, Barcher, and a couple of us. We were discussing that about somebody that we all know.
Yep.
Remember that vaguely?
Yep. I remember.
No matter what you mention, they've been there or they know that person, or you know, it's like, oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
Anything you know, she already knows much more about. And she has to make sure you and everyone within a 10-mile radius knows how much more she knows about it. While you find yourself entertaining fantasies about putting her head through the wall every time you're around her, someone else might be hanging on her every word, unable to get enough of her fascinating and brilliant conversation. The reason she makes you so crazy is because you most likely are a know-it-all yourself, or you worry that you are one, or you have insecurities about people thinking you know nothing.
That's true.
Our reality is a mirror of our thoughts, the people in our reality included.
Yep.
Same thing goes with what people throw at us. Would you be offended if someone kept making fun of how short you were if you were 6 feet tall? It most likely wouldn't even register. Or if it did, you'd just think they were kind of strange. But if they teased you about being bossy, and deep down you feared you were, it would definitely get your attention. It would also mean they have energy around their own bossiness if they're recognizing it in you, but that's not your problem. What you focus on, you create more of in your life. If you're consciously or subconsciously focused on certain beliefs about who you are, or who you want to be, or who you do not want to be, you will attract people who mirror those traits right back at you. This is why when you're dealing with a backstabbing quote-unquote friend, or some sort of toxic person that you need to stand up to or kick out of your life, you get caught up in this self-inflicted trap of not wanting to hurt the other person, or latching onto their finer qualities, or fearing the worst if you don't put up with their crap.
Oh my God!
Yep.
She is touching on some shit, is she not?
She's touching on a lot of shit, man.
She is touching on some stuff right there, man.
Yep.
I'm sure we all have a person in our lives that it resembles the person that she's talking about. And she is speaking the truth, man. Because normally, because I'll be honest with you, I am a self-proclaimed know-it-all, and I also know nothing. And I don't want to know it all, because when you know it all, it's a lot of frightening shit out there.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a lot, you know. And I mean,
usually you see it. If you see it in somebody else, it's because it takes one to know one.
It takes one to know one, yeah. Because if you've been through it, you know what I mean. It's like, because sometimes we act like saints a lot of times. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We don't see the imperfection in ourselves, so we're quick to judge another person for be that person. And sometimes you kind of have to take a step back and analyze yourself. But yeah, it's man, we all have somebody like that, in our lives. I mean, that's a fact. Somebody that is obviously we deem as toxic and everything, and but we
But
don't
you don't want to hurt them
want to hurt them.
by
Yeah,
coming forward with what what you feel like the situation really truly is. So
exactly.
you end up taking it probably a little bit longer than you want to.
Hmm.
Um, but we're all human beings, and at the end of the day, you do a person more harm than good when you don't call them out on their shit a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, you know me, I've been through it and everything. It's like when you take too long to say something, you wish that, and then situations get worse with that person, and you wish that you could have told that person, call them out earlier on. You know what I mean? Without
But
having
you know what? That speaks to our humility as human beings, that
it,
we actually care.
we care. Yeah, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. We don't want to
Not
hurt
not
their feelings.
not that people don't give a shit about your feelings, but at least you at least have the humility to take that person's feelings into consideration instead of just spewing stuff out
Exactly.
regardless of the effect that it's going to have. There's
Exactly.
a there's a PC way to call people out, but you do need to call them out.
It's very important to call them out. I mean, like that's a fact. You
It
know.
takes a long time. You have to find you in that.
Yeah.
I tell Jen this all the time because when Jen and I first met, Jen, she wouldn't speak up about some things because she was such a nice person. I came from that same cloth. So I had to find me. I had to find Dawn's way of
Yeah.
saying what I needed to say to somebody. And sometimes it ended up, I ended up becoming a lot more like Janice, who was my mom.
Yeah.
And she didn't give a shit. She would just spew some stuff out. And if you like it, you like it. If you didn't, you didn't. You just had to deal with it. If you wanted to hang around or hang around. If you don't, hey, no skin off her back, And she was sensitive too. But I think she found her way of defending
Hmm.
her sensitivity and not let people walk all over her. And she found Janice's way of calling people out. And that's what you have to do. When there's somebody that you need to call out, you got to find your own voice and your own style of doing that so
Doing.
that you're able to do it, because keeping it inside is definitely not healthy.
Yeah. It's not healthy at all. I mean, I've tried for a long time. I've tried to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not been. It's been I will say a hard
The struggle, right?
struggle. Yeah, transition because a lot of times it's not that we're scared of that person, right?
Right.
We're just we are the way we're molded as human beings, especially if you are brought up in a very respectable household.
And
um
you're taught to respect others
respect
and don't speak. Right, 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 right. I get it.
yeah, and don't speak, don't say any, don't
Don't be
don't be
disrespectful.
disrespectful. Yeah, don't say anything that is gonna be hurtful to a person.
Right.
Like like they say that saying, did your mom teach you if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it? You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely. And you know what the thing is, the world has changed though.
it's changed now. Yep,
That was in a world where it was acceptable, where you could do that and not get
Mhm.
beat up for it or looked at as a weakling,
As a weakling right now, exactly. But
you know.
the interesting thing right now, sister JJ, is that sorry about that. The interesting thing right now, what's going on is that we live in a society where if we tell the truth, we can get canceled as well.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
how do you go about it?
You have to find your way of doing that. You
Yeah.
have to find your way. Here's the thing. You have to, and this is something that I told Jen, and Jen has come into her own beautifully with being able to speak up for herself. And I'm so proud of her for that. You have to let go of the fear. Think about it. What is cancel culture? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Somebody can just not deal with you anymore. Okay, well, so mother
Yeah.
and be it. Okay, you have to be okay with the worst case scenario, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario is that person doesn't talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario is all your subscribers go away. Guess what? Just like you started from ground zero once, you can do it again. So
Exactly.
put it out there so that you can be clear and so that everybody knows where you stand, and then just deal with whatever happens in that moment.
The
Because trust
response.
me, you're tougher than you think.
Exactly. I mean, too many times, we feel like we can't talk, we can't express our true feelings. But what's the worst that can happen? That person not liking what they we say to them. I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. It's not
The
like
worst that can happen is absolute death. That person is somebody who is estranged and can come take you out. And guess what? At that point, what are they going to do then? Because you're gone. And guess what? No more pain for you. So
no,
either way, it's a win-win.
it's a win-win. Yeah, yeah, it's a win-win situation. I keep my circle very, very tight.
Family sucks for your
Yeah,
family, but
yeah, it sucks definitely. Yeah, but I keep my circle very tight. I keep it
that's
very.
and I do too. I do too, DZ. For that very reason. I mean, people. It's not the same world, so you can't keep a broad circle of people because you never know what people are capable.
Man.
So the easiest thing to do is to keep your, they say keep your enemies close. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Because if you know what your enemy's doing every month, it's like an old Sun Tzu trick. If you know your enemy like you know yourself, then there's no way they're gonna get over on you.
exactly, exactly. Facts,
All right,
facts.
I'm gonna get back into the book for us.
No problem.
I don't care how long you've been friends with someone, or how sorry you feel for them, or how they really helped you those 8 million times, or how hilarious, successful, hot, inspiring, desperate, scary, connected, brilliant, or helpless they are, because the reason you're having trouble standing up to them isn't about any of that. What's really going
Nice.
on is you're being faced with rewiring your limiting beliefs about yourself. And you're using these excuses for these other people to avoid facing your own issues around sticking up for yourself.
Wow.
Happen for love for hoop culture. Shout out to DZ. Shout out to Queen Royalty. Shout out to Selfmade Sicario. I see you guys over there in the chat. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Thank you so much for joining us.
At the end of the day, it's not about them. It's about you believing you're worthy of being loved and seen for who you really are. When we agree to let ourselves down in favor of supporting the bad behavior of others, it often stems from the same impulse, willing to make other people more uncomfortable than they made us. Not terribly studly in the old self-love department, is it?
Mm.
By making them uncomfortable, I mean declining to participate in their drama, by the way, not by being equally abusive back. This isn't about getting an eye for an eye and sinking to a lower level. It's about standing up for your highest self, no matter if the person you're dealing with should choose to have the experience of feeling disappointed, feeling hurt,
Facts.
feeling inconvenienced, seeing you as a crazy person. It's about respecting yourself instead of catering to your insecure need to be liked. This is incredibly powerful because when you love yourself enough to stand in your truth, no matter what the cost, everyone benefits. You start
Facts to the love of my life. Vegan Knowledge JJ. I see you over there, sweetie.
attracting kinds of things, people, and opportunities that are in alignment with who you truly are, which is way more fun than hanging out with a bunch of irritating energy suckers.
Mm.
And by declining to participate in other people's drama, i.e., refusing to rip people to shreds, to complain about how unfair the world is, etc., you not only raise your own frequency, but you offer the drama queens the chance to rise up too, instead of everyone continuing to play a low, lame game.
Hmm.
Never apologize for who you are. It lets the whole world down. We all know someone who does not take shit from anyone, ever. We look upon these types of people with wide-eyed reverence and would never dream of being stupid enough to present them with any of our own BS or try to make them wrong. Why? Because we respect them and are usually kind of terrified of them in a healthy way. And why do we respect them? Because they respect themselves. So how can you get rid of your lame-o projections and judgments? and grace the world with your highest, most unapologetic self? 1. Own your ugly. Start noticing the things that drive you nuts about other people, and instead of complaining or judging or getting defensive about them, use them as a mirror. Especially if you find yourself getting really worked up. Get mighty real with yourself. Is this quality something you have yourself? Or is there a certain aspect to it that you're loath to admit is just like you? Or does it remind you of something you're actively trying to suppress or avoid? Or that you're actively doing just the opposite of? Or that you're threatened by? Become fascinated by, instead of furious about, the irritants surrounding you. And go get your learning on. 2. Question your ugly. Once you discover what part of yourself you're projecting onto the person who is presently bugging the living crap out of you, you can start letting it go. Begin by asking yourself some very simple questions and diffusing the limiting and false stories you've been lugging around for ages. For example, if you're all pissed off that your friend who's always late is late again, it's pushing your buttons because you're holding onto some sort of quote unquote truth about the way people should be with time. Flip it around and ask yourself things like, in what ways am I always late or inconsiderate or unreliable? Or maybe it's, in what ways am I too rigid or controlling? Once you have your answer, ask yourself, who do I need to be for this situation not to bother me? Using this scenario, let's say you discover that you're a lot more rigid than you care to admit. This is very valuable information because now you know that in order to be happier, loosen your bone, Wilma. Stop insisting that people do things exactly the way you do them, especially the people in your life who have proven they most definitely won't.
Right.
Notice where you're being ridiculously demanding simply because it's become your habit and not because it's really necessary. And constantly ask yourself, can I let this one go? By becoming aware of what we do, we can investigate why we do it and then choose to keep it or drop it instead of blindly reacting through habit. What am I getting out of being this way? As discussed in chapter 17, it's so easy once you figure out it isn't hard. We don't do anything unless we're getting something out of it, even if what we're getting are false benefits. Using this scenario, some of the positive benefits of being rigid are that you're always on time, you get shit done, etc. But there are also some negative advantages to being rigid too. You intimidate people into getting your way. You get to be right whenever someone messes up, which they'll do often if you've really honed the rigid thing well. You get to be in control, etc. Once you bust yourself on the false reward you're getting from holding on to this behavior, you can see it for what it is, something that's not always in alignment with who you truly are and aspire to be, and release it when it's not working.
Any thoughts on that, DZ?
Yeah,
That's some deep shit.
That's some deep shit. Like, it's so true. Like what she said in regards to just like expecting people to do the things that we like, the way we do things exactly. Like, too many times have I fallen into that trap of, you know, like when somebody doesn't do something specific to the way I do, I get disappointed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but that person is not like me. You know what I mean? We're all different. They might be doing things a certain way,
Right.
me not agree with, but it's just having that conversation with them and be like, this is how I'll do things. I've had a similar situation happen, to one of my streams. I'm not going to go into details, but me and that person, we had different ways of doing things, and but me just having that conversation with that person to let them know, hey, this is how I do things. It might not be the same. We might disagree on those things, but let's meet in the middle and work together and see how we can, mesh and, co
Absolutely.
together. So I think just having a conversation with them and everything does help the issue and everything. So she's definitely right in that.
Yeah. And like what we said earlier, you have to find your way of doing it.
Yeah.
because it's like, if you continuously let that person be who they are, a person like that can end up walking all over someone who is quote unquote nice.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help anybody. You know what I'm saying? So the nice person has to find a nice way of basically telling, the bully to kick rocks.
To kick rocks. Yeah.
And it's hard, but eventually when you find your style of doing that, it becomes something that you can do without thinking.
Exactly.
And you don't end up harboring a lot of ill will, and that person, surprisingly enough, will end up respecting you.
Yeah. They will end up respecting you because you know people always
But you
respect.
told them how it is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. People always respect people that come to them and are straight up with them in regards to things. You might not be harsh in the way you say your words or, stern, but just you
You may
telling
not
them,
have to be, you
hey,
know.
you don't have to be exactly. Me, I'm not particularly stern in how I say things. I'm just like, yeah, yeah, this is basically
Neither
how
is
I
Jen.
feel. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So there's a way to do it that's kind of laid back, that's your own
Yeah,
way
yeah,
of doing it.
yeah, exactly. It's like it's like I'm pretty much the person. I don't agree with this way of doing things, and there is a different way to do things. I don't need to be harsh about it. No, not harsh, but stern about it. Some people may be different and all that, and that's okay. I just that's
Right.
just how I operate and everything. But as long as I let my every time I let my feelings known about something, I feel better after for saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Said in my way, in the most respectful way that I always say, as long as you say things respectfully, everybody has a everybody needs to find a respectful way of saying things. You know what I mean? If even if you say in a stern way, say it respectfully. That's it. You don't need to shout out the person. You don't need to scream, but tell them the truth, but in the most respectful way. And then, yeah, you just go by it. And everybody has a way of saying it in a respectful way.
Right, because we're all adults. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. 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 And
How would I
all right,
feel
go ahead.
if I wasn't this way? One of the best ways to release the aforementioned lousy behavior is by asking yourself how you'd feel if this wasn't true for you anymore. How would I feel if I took the pull out of my ass about everyone doing everything exactly how I say to do it all the time in every circumstance?
funny.
Ask the question and then imagine yourself as this person who has let it go. How does your body feel? What do you use the brain space for that used to be taken up with poisonous thoughts about the inconsiderate pinheads you're surrounded by?
Right, it's healthy to let it out. We just said that.
Feel into the reality of what it would be like to let this go. Breathe into it. Visualize it. Fall in love with not having it anymore. And then kick it to the curb.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
3, don't be an enabler. In the fuzzier cases where you're not sure what to do, but you really do want to help someone, recognize the difference between helping and enabling. When you reach out a helping hand, do you feel like they're pulling you down or that you're lifting them up towards their potential? Are they grateful or entitled? Do they use your help to actively move themselves in a positive direction? Or do they constantly need more, more, more? Just this one last time, for the 50th time. Pay attention and trust how you feel. If you're truly helping them and they're rising to the occasion, it will raise everyone's frequencies and you'll feel good. If you're enabling them, you'll feel heavy, depressed, and eventually resentful. While it's no fun to kick someone to the curb when they're at their lowest low, if you constantly bail them out, they'll never wake up and save themselves. Why should they? They've got you to fund their pity party. Tough love is still love.
Talk to them,
4,
sis.
give painful people the heave-ho. Sometimes, no matter how much work you do on yourself and how forgiving you are and how skilled you get at letting it go, there's just no way around it. Some people are just too committed to their own dysfunction. They're painful to be around. You'd rather cover yourself in the fleas of 1,000 camels than go out for a cup of coffee with them. This is all about learning and loving and growing into the highest version of yourself, not seeing just how much torture you can endure.
Mm.
So, along with understanding how to grow from the not so savory behavior of those around you, it's also important to understand how to get the hell away from them if they're chronically self obsessed or violent or blaming or negative or controlling or jealous or high drama or manipulative or victimized or whiny or pessimistic or mean to animals.
Wow.
Here's how. First, feed your head. As discussed, a lot of times the people we need to kick to the curb happen to be those we love, or at least like a lot, for their decent qualities. Hence, ye olde guilt can really get in our way when trying to do the right thing. Stay strong. See it as being nice to yourself instead of being mean to them.
Oh wow.
Remember,
Wow. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Yep.
That's the mentality that you have to have when you're approaching the people that you want to check. Especially when you have fear of how they're going to respond to it, how they're going to react to it. You have to put yourself first. And if you're not in the habit of doing that, this is something that can help you practice doing that.
Yep. Definitely.
Put yourself first. Think about how you're feeling. If you're constantly being abused it can be how do you say, passively aggressively abused.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to mean they're physically harming you or evilly or even verbally bashing you, but they're doing things in such a way that it's passive aggressive, and you know it and they know it. And there's ways that you can just think about, hey, how is this making me feel? If it's not making me feel good, then it's not a good thing, at least for me. So I don't like feeling this way. So I've got to go ahead and, in a nice way, say something to this person. Or if you're not so nice, hey, say it how you say it.
Facts. Facts. Exactly. You have to say something because, like, as she said, the more you allow it to fester,
Yes, sir.
the worse it's gonna be. You know what I mean? You're just going to just let it. You're just going to let it. Annoy you, and you're going to end up resenting that person. That person wouldn't know exactly what is going on. You know what I mean? They might not be
You'll
doing
start resenting yourself for putting up with it.
exactly, and
You
that
know,
is dangerous, and that can lead to sort of depression, and everything, and you end up doing a lot of harm to yourself unnecessarily. You know what I mean? So it's very
absolutely. You become like the Incredible Hulk, and it builds up and builds up and builds up until you finally explode, and somebody ends up getting hurt.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's worth it to just go ahead and get comfortable with, squashing it at the start,
exactly, exactly.
and that way it doesn't build and grow.
Exactly, and just to deal with, like, to even get deeper into it. That's why there's a lot of jealousy, toxicity within our community, because people are there's a lot of people are not comfortable. Well, people do check in our community. It's just that a lot of people are not don't get to the level where they can have these civil conversations
Right,
without any sort of anger behind it. You know,
right.
why not have a conversation? If you don't like the way a person is coming at you, instead of reacting with violence or reacting with harsh words, react with civil discourse, rely with respect. Retaliate with respect. That's what really
That
matters at the end of the day. So, exactly, toxicity. As Sister J just said, toxicity is there's a lot of toxicity. You know, in our whether it's in our relationships that we do have with certain people, or just in the community as a whole. So I think it starts with us. Now, which is why this conversation, Sister JJ, is so important, because we can we if we learn how to treat each other with respect but straight up, and we're able to carry that towards other people, and it's a ripple effect at the end of the
Shout out to Ball Don't Lie podcast. I see you down there, my brother. Absolutely, DZ.
day. Yeah.
With
Mhm.
that, we're gonna head on back in.
Yeah.
remembering that you are rising up to the highest version of yourself instead of shrinking down to their level, can give you the strength you need to shake them off your leg. Next, hit eject. Another important thing to remember when yanking the weeds out of your garden is not to get involved in their drama.
I like how she put
Cut
that.
the cord as quickly and simply as possible with little to no discussion. If they're so oblivious to your feelings that you need to toss them out of your life, chances are very good they won't see this coming. So the discussion on why you need to end it could go on for the rest of your lives if you let it. Suddenly get really busy. Fade them out. Wean them off you with zero explanation. The louder they scream, the busier you suddenly get. If having a conversation is unavoidable, remember, you've already decided that you want out. So don't get sucked into working through your decision or their problems with them. Simply say that the relationship isn't working for you, that you don't like how it makes you feel, that you have to end it, and that it's not open for discussion. Make it all about you. Give them nothing to work with or argue about.
Wow. Point
5,
taken. Point
love
taken.
yourself. Fiercely, loyally, unapologetically. Chapter 22, The Sweet Life. It's great to be here. It's great to be anywhere. Keith Richards, rock god, connoisseur of life.
Rolling Stones, baby.
I've got a cat who's 22 years old. I've also got a dad who's 87. The cat and my dad share the same superhero power. They both have the ability to make me...
Damn, her cat made it to 22.
We pay lots of attention to them.
Crazy.
I'm nicer to them than I am to anyone else. Anyone else not staring
Shout
down
out
the
to
barrel
Tux.
of their impending mortality, that is. I first realized that my cat was old and might die soon about a year ago when, overnight, all his body fat plunged to his region, causing him to swing it around like an udder and leaving him with a spine that's still in shock, jutting out all spindly and jagged, wondering where everybody went. This is when a teary farewell house, fancy wet food began appearing in his bowl. In Dad's case, the phone calls and flights back east have escalated dramatically, and I now laugh hysterically at all his jokes, no doubt make well-being than I do about his. I'm thrilled to report, in the calendar's opinion, they're real old. They're both still kicking butt. Tennis once a week, still knows who I am, and my cat still runs when he hears the opener. They're also excellent reminders.
I'd like to welcome to the panel, Vegan Knowledge JJ. What's up, love?
Hey, what's going on? Sorry about that. I wasn't muted.
What's good, Jen?
Not much. I just wanted to say something real quick. I'm in the middle of work and you probably heard me typing, so I probably got to run. But I was going to say, you might have already talked about this because I've been in and out. But also, sometimes with those people, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. You know, my phone always does weird things. But I was going to say, sometimes when you're in like toxic situation, or sometimes this can't happen all the time, but sometimes your actual aura and your calmness and the way that you handle things, your kindness, when you project that around a group of people, it actually can kind of spill over into them a little bit. If you have the right kind of person that might have just gotten maybe a little tainted over time and that's not in their core, and it can actually bring that back to the environment that you're in. And there was a story, I think Dawn probably has told this before, about the carrot, the egg, and the coffee bean. Where
No, I think maybe you might have, but go ahead, enlighten us.
I love this story, so I always want to say it. But like, there's like 3 ways that you can handle a situation. And I read this story a while back. It was like a mother talking to her daughter, where you can either handle it when the environment you're in is like the boiling pot of water. And if you look at how a carrot acts when it gets in the water, it kind of gets soft and it kind of just disintegrates. And that's like if you're around a toxic group of people or you're going through a rough situation, you just kind of clam up and kind of go into your own world and just don't do anything about it. And then if you look at the egg, then the egg on the outside gets like really hard, and so you start to just kind of be mean to everybody, but on the inside you're like falling apart, you're soft, it's mush, but you're not projecting that, so you just become like those other people you're around, you kind of come back at them. And then there's the coffee bean. When that's put into the water, it actually changes the very water that it's in and makes it into coffee. So it's almost like you have complete control of your environment. And in a sense, whether that's changing the other, the environment to be more positive that you're in, or leaving that environment, in my opinion, because you're still your own, coffee bean. But staying within yourself, I think the story kind of has taught. And whether you're in a group of people who are toxic, or in like a work environment or family, whatever it is, just kind of being yourself and projecting positivity, and being true to yourself and not changing, can sometimes change the environment too, without having to actually leave it.
Nice.
Hmm.
That's pretty good story,
That's so true. Yeah, yeah. The environment part is very important. I feel like, like, you know, I've had to adapt to every single environment I've been in, coming from a different culture. Jen, I was living in, I was in Ivory Coast in West Africa. Then I moved to Cape Town, South Africa. And then coming from such a culture and then moving to to the States in 2014, it was a culture shock to me personally, because I've had to deal with people in general a different way. You know what I mean? And it took me time to do that. And I'm still trying to adapt to it. You know what I mean? Because you have to learn to, know yourself and know your environment. That can be a big challenge, if you've never been to an environment before, exposed to a new environment before. So,
Right.
it's been a struggle for me, but I learn every day and I become better at it. So yeah, definitely I would tell me.
Takes practice.
Takes practice for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jen, for giving us that analogy. It's always a good analogy. I love hearing it, and it makes perfect sense. Try to be infectious and infect those around you with good energy instead of toxic energy, to Tap's point.
Definitely.
When it comes to the creatures you love and the things you love and the life you love, what on earth could possibly be more important than soaking them up right now while you've still got the opportunity? If it's something you want to do, don't wait until you're less busy or richer or quote unquote ready or 20 pounds lighter. Start right now. You'll never be this young again.
Facts.
If it's the people you love, visit them as often as possible. Act as if every time you see them will be the last. If they
Unless there's COVID.
bug you sometimes, love them anyway. If you've got differences, get over them. Don't get so tangled up in the stupid little stuff that you miss out on enjoying the people who have part ownership of your heart.
Facts.
If you're not where you want to be in life, keep going. Treat yourself like you're the closest friend you've got. Celebrate the magnificent creature that you are. Don't let anyone mess with you in your dreams, least of all, yourself. Your life is right now. Do not snooze and lose. Love yourself.
Facts.
While you still
She is
got
on
the chance.
point,
Part
man.
5. How to kick some ass.
Woo! Let's go.
Chapter 3. The all-knowing decision. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. W. H. Murray, explorer, mountain climber, committer. The story goes that when Henry Ford first came up with the idea for his V8 motor, he wanted the engine to have all 8 cylinders cast in one block.
Oh, I heard this before.
I have
This
no
is
idea
good.
what that means, but apparently it was a tall order because his team of engineers was like, "Bitch, you crazy." He told them to do it anyway, and off they grumbled.
I know this story so well, and I'm going to let her tell it, but I have to respect Henry Ford as who he was, because dude was somebody who surrounded himself always with people who knew much more than he did. Why? He's like, why am I going to load my head up with facts that I don't understand, when all I have to do is surround myself with people who know those facts, take care of those people, and what they know will benefit me.
Mhm.
That's smart. That's smart.
That's smart. I mean, that's what Elon Musk did. You know what I mean? He surrounded me
Yeah.
with true the found. He's not the founder of Tesla. It was some true engineers that were, but he was able. You know, you can people can characterize it as using. You know what I mean? But you surround yourself. You take advantage in a good way. You know, surround yourself with people that know much more about you, about something, and you know, I mean, we all do it. We're not saints. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
like, you know, it's not a bad thing to do. There's a
It's
way. Like,
Henry fucking Ford did it. That's
Ford
how
did
the automobiles got built.
it.
You
Exactly.
know, he started the assembly line. He didn't put every car together by himself.
Exactly. I mean,
You know,
the good thing is, you know, it's a good way to pay homage to people. You're respecting people. You're like, you admit to yourself that you don't know everything. You know what I mean? And
right?
we don't know everything. So it's important that we surround ourselves with people that know much more about a certain, you know, business or, you know, subject that, you know, we may not be versed on, and that we learn a lot from them. And who knows, we can get better, and we learn from that, and actually we can, you know, that builds us up, and it should gain being somebody even better. So it's a
Shout out
win-win.
to Rev, because Rev told me one time. He said, "Hey sis,"
Yeah.
he asked me to do something one time that was graphic oriented, and he said, "I can't do that shit." He was like, "I'm not even going to pretend to be
Yeah.
that guy. I'm not that guy."
Yeah, I remember.
Have
Yeah.
that skill, and you know, I appreciate you for doing what you do, because I am not that guy. And he didn't have a problem admitting that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's cool when you surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, even if sometimes you don't.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. The first step is admitting it that you don't know the such a thing and asking for help. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help and assistance. I think that's the most powerful way to show your humility. I think there's power in that. Yeah.
Facts.
Away at it, only to come back and inform him that it was impossible. Upon hearing this news, to keep at it, no matter how long it took. He was all, I don't want to see faces until you bring me what I want. And they were all, we just proved it can't be done. And he was all, it can't be done, and it will be done. And they were all, cannot. And he was all, and so. And they were all, no way. And he was all, way. So off they went again, and this time for a whole year.
I love her
and
approach. I love it.
nothing.
Yeah.
Ford, and there's lots of tears and finger pointing and hair pulling, and Ford sends them off again, and it'll be done again, and then the lab, between folding origami swans out of their notes and mixes every time someone mentions the word, his engineers do the impossible. They discover how to make his 8-cylinder lock. This is what it means to make a decision for reals. When you make a no-nonsense decision, you sign up fully and keep moving towards your goal regardless of what's flung in your path. And stuff will most definitely get flung, which is why making the decision is so crucial. This shit is not for sissies.
Nice.
The moment it gets hard or expensive or puts you at risk of looking like a moron, if you haven't made the decision, you will quit. If it wasn't uncomfortable, everyone would be out there all in love with their fabulous lives. So often we pretend we've made a decision when what we've really done is signed up to try until it gets too uncomfortable. Henry Ford didn't even make it past the 6th grade, and there he was, bossing around a bunch of the world's biggest engineering smarty pantses, setting himself up to look like a total idiot by spending large amounts of money and time on the proven impossible. Ford was determined, trusted his gut and his vision more than the small thinking of others.
Shout out to Oodles and Cuddles.
He'd made the decision that he would have his engine the way he would have it, and nothing was going to stop him. This is why the decision is so important. If you had an idea and had to go up against a room full of people who quote unquote knew better than you did and demand they do what you say in spite of all the proof they had against you, would you say guns? You needed tens of thousands of dollars to start your new business. And the person you could think of to ask was your scary, rich uncle who remembered who you were even though you saw him every Christmas, would you ask him for it? Or if you were unsexy and out of shape and the only time you could make it to the gym was at 5 a.m. on freezing winter mornings when you were all snugly in bed, would you go? If you made the decision that you were going to reach your goals, you would do whatever it took. If you merely wanted to, but hadn't made the firm decision to, you'd roll over and begin convincing yourself that your life is fine just the way it is. This is where being connected to your desire and source energy and having an unshakable belief in the not yet seen is so critical. There are plenty of times when we get a brilliant idea and it temporarily fails, or it pushes us into unfamiliar territory. If we don't have a strong connection to the truth, we live in an abundant universe, we are awesome, glorious, tear-jerkingly lovable, etc., a blazing desire, and an unflinching belief in our own vision before it's manifested, we'll fall prey to our own fears and everyone else's fears that it's not possible and give up, instead of course correcting or pushing on through and bringing it to life. As Winston Churchill so aptly explained, success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. Nobody gets to the top of the mountain without falling on his face over and over again.
That's right.
By the way, back when Henry Ford insisted to a room full of annoyed engineers that his V8 engine could be built the way he envisioned it, it was after he'd already gone bankrupt in his first attempt at creating an automobile empire.
Wow.
So he already had plenty of proof that he was capable of failing on a massive scale.
And then
But his
succeeding.
faith in himself and his vision was so strong that he stuck with it in spite of all the evidence around him that pointed to big fat loser, and became one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time.
See?
Temporary failure is all the rage. All the cool kids have done it. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team for lack of skill.
Damn.
Steven Spielberg, a high school dropout, was rejected from film school 3 times. Thomas Edison, who was dubbed too stupid to learn anything by a teacher, tried more than 9,000 experiments before successfully creating the light bulb.
Wow.
Soichiro Honda, the founder of Honda Motor Company, was turned down by Toyota for an engineering position, so he started his own damn company.
And look what happened.
Beethoven's music teacher told him he was talentless, and more specifically, was hopeless at composing. Beethoven turned a deaf ear.
Funny.
So bad. Sorry.
Jen, she's worse than you with the
Fred
puns.
Smith wrote a paper while at Yale about his big idea for overnight delivery service. He got a C. He went on to create FedEx anyway. The only failure is quitting. Everything else is just gathering information.
Talk to him.
There's no big mystery to this stuff. If you want something badly enough and decide that you will get it, you will. You've done it before. You've lost the weight, gotten the job, bought the house, quit the nasty habit, gotten in shape, asked someone out, splurged on the front row tickets, grown out your bangs. You just need to remember that you can do it with anything in your life.
Damn! She is dropping some gems, man.
She's dropping jazz, bro.
Riding a bike, straightening your hair. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff that you can say. Riding a skateboard, playing drums. You know what I'm saying? Playing that video game where you can't get past fucking level 1. How did you learn to get to level 10? Because you got past 1, 2, 3 through 9, right?
Yep.
But you didn't do it the first time you tried to play the damn game. I know, self-made, tap, DZ ball. I know y'all relate.
Yep. A lot. We relate a lot. Yeah.
You gotta fail. You gotta crawl before you walk. And every failure is the seed of success. Let's go.
Even the things that you presently think are out of your reach. There are plenty of people out there in the world living the kind of life you only dream about living, many of whom are far less fabulous and talented than you are. The key to their success is that they decided to go for it. They stopped listening to their tired old excuses, changed their lousy habits, and got the fuck on the fuck. Here's how you can too. 1. Want it bad. You need to have a 10-ton gorilla of desire behind your decision, or else you'll wimp out the second things get hard. It's like people who get hypnotized to quit smoking when they really don't want to quit. or who try to lose weight when they're more excited by pizza than being able to look down and see their feet.
Okay, I resent that. I resent
A few
that.
months ago, I dragged my ass to yoga class for a solid week, even though I just so did not feel like doing it.
Hey, pizza's my thing, okay?
Paid my money, sat down on my mat, and was surprised to find my hand raised in the air when the instructor asked if anyone had any injuries she should know about. I then heard myself saying that I'd just gotten the cast off my broken elbow and should really take it easy. I am an adult. I am very busy. Money on that class and then lied so I didn't have to participate. I did have a cast, but it had come off about 8 months earlier. I spent the majority of yoga week quietly napping on my mat and conjuring up my best wincing in pain face in case she was looking at me while I was half-assing down dog. It was ridiculous. If you're going to push through major obstacles to reach your goal, you can't just want to. You need to be in a full-on tizzy of excitement about what it is you're going after and hold onto it like a pit bull. In order to do this, you need to have the audacity to be honest about what you really want to do, not what you should do. Believe it's available to you, regardless of any evidence otherwise, and go for it. 2, get good at it. To decide literally means to cut off. No wonder so many people are totally freaked out by it. The terror around making the wrong decision can be so overwhelming to some people that they develop the habit of A, waffling back and forth, paralyzed by self-doubt and terror, finally eking out a quote-unquote decision that they then proceed to change over and over and over again. B, making decisions hastily without thinking or feeling into them, their main goal being to escape the discomfort and get the damn thing over with already. Or C, being so afraid that if they pick one thing, they'll miss out on another, so they either choose to do nothing or try to do everything, which are both excellent ways to miss out on all of it. They basically decide to never decide because they don't want to make the wrong decision. Good times. Deciding is freedom. Indecision is torture.
Wow.
Indecision is one of the most popular tricks for staying stuck within the boundaries of what's safe and familiar, which is why a common trait of successful people is that they make decisions quickly and choose them slowly. And by quickly, I don't mean that you must know exactly what to do the moment a decision presents itself, although there are those people who do, but rather that you immediately face the damn thing and start working through your decision-making process, whatever that may look like, sleeping on it, making a list of the pros and cons, feeling into it, etc. If you're a waffler or prefer to avoid the process altogether, a great thing to do is practice on the little things to build up your decision-making muscle. When eating at a restaurant, make yourself pick something off the menu in under 30 seconds. Once you choose, you are authorized to change your mind or your order. Give yourself 20 minutes to go online and research the best garlic press and then make the purchase. Pick things off the shelves at the supermarket in 10 seconds. Knock yourself out of the habit of being a deer stuck in the headlights by demanding you wake up and choose something.
You know what she's doing, right?
Yeah.
Wax on, wax off. If you practice that with little stuff like that, making a decision and making it now and sticking with it and not going back and forth, little shit, little stuff.
Yep.
You get better at it. It's a skill that will grow with bigger things.
That's right. So important.
But you got to start with the small stuff first.
You can start with small stuff, man. Can start with the big stuff. And a lot of times we want to, like for me, like I can be very indecisive sometimes, and but sometimes I think too much about it, and I've been doing that to myself. Like when I think too much about it, I was like, what, man, let me do it. Let me just do it just to get over and done with it. Because it's like I don't like thinking too much about a certain thing, just like if I want to buy that video game, for example.
Yep.
Do I need to do it? Do I need to buy it? And then I end up buying it.
Right.
It's like fuck it, So it's.
I'll ride along with her while she's doing DoorDash sometime, and she's like, $7 for 3 miles. Do you think I should take it? And I'm like, I'm gonna make you make that decision. Well, come on, help me out. Am I making money? You did this before. Am I making money doing that? Make your decision.
Make your
You know,
decision.
make your decision. You're a big girl. Make that decision. She
You don't
hates
want to be the
that.
you don't want to be the bearer of that decision, you know.
Yes, because I'm like, oh no, 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 I'm not gonna have you all shitty. She doesn't get like that, but I'm not. You end up not making money, or it doesn't pan out. I don't want that responsibility. No,
Oh,
you make that decision.
it's human instinct, human reaction to blame a person for a decision that they suggested, and you ask them for it. It's
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not falling for
yeah,
it.
fuck for that shit. Yep.
You be mad at you.
No, exactly. Yeah.
If you're someone who needs to sleep on it or mull it around a bit, give yourself a deadline. Don't leave it open to decide and risk waking up 40 years later, finally sure of what to do, long after the opportunity has passed you by. Pay attention to how much time you need to decide overnight, a week, a month, and demand of yourself that you figure it out by then. If you're wired for making instant decisions, practice tuning into your intuition and fully trusting what it says, regardless of what you're maybe screaming about. Get quiet, listen for and feel into the answer, and practice acting on your first solid impulse. And whoever you are, please stop saying how pathetic you are at making decisions. Erase the phrase, I don't know, from your vocabulary and replace it with, I'll know what to do soon enough. Decide to become the person who makes quick, smart decisions, and you will. 3, eliminate the negotiation process. When I decided to quit smoking, if I even toyed with thoughts like, well, what harm will itty bitty drag do? I was screwed. It must be watertight because excuses will see through any little cracks in our resolve, and before we know it, we'll be on our asses. Decisions are not up for negotiation. The old you, the one who has not yet decided to kick ass, asked. Stay present and do not, even for one second, look backwards or entertain any ideas of straying from your decision. Think you. The whole point of deciding is to stop wasting time and move forward, not to spend time figuring out how you can wiggle out of your decision. It helped me to think of it this way. I'm not going to go home and negotiate about whether or not I'm going to smoke a cigarette, just as I'm not going to go home and negotiate about whether or not to snort some horse tranquilizers. I don't negotiate about snorting horse tranquilizers because I'm not a horse tranquilizer snorter. Now that I don't smoke, I'm not going to negotiate about smoking because I don't smoke. 4,
Damn.
stick like glue. I used to write for an entrepreneurial magazine where I got to interview all these hugely successful.
I don't eat. Damn, I'm not bought in yet. That's what I'm doing,
Yeah.
Shout out to Self-Made Sicario. I am not going to eat. I want to do an extended fast. And she's right. Damn it. I made the decision and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stop going back and forth. I want to go beyond Mondays and Tuesdays. I'm looking at freaking the family Chantel. Pedro has lost every ounce of body fat that he has. Have you seen that show?
Pedro, I haven't seen him in a while. Like, did he lose like every ounce of it?
Dude, there is no body fat on Pedro whatsoever. Why? Because he is doing a lot of intermittent fasting.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I'm like, holy shit, he looks good. Dude, he has no, and Pedro was getting kind of pudgy.
Yeah.
He was gaining a little bit of weight there for a couple of seasons. And he has I heard he's if you go to his Instagram, he's into boxing now. Dude has made the decision to stick to that intermittent fasting, and it worked. He has no body fat. He looks like he's about 17 years old. And I'm like, wow, man, intermittent fasting. Here's the fasting thing again. I made the decision where it's just like what she said about making a decision. I made the decision once, and it lasted for 20 days because I made up my mind. I stuck with it. So do it again. Anything you want to do, make up your mind and just stick to it. And you got to not let yourself go. You know what I mean? Don't give yourself a break.
Yep.
I can have that bag of pretzels. No, don't do that. gotta get pissed at myself, man. I'm like, no, don't do that. Stop cheating. Stop getting. Now I can have
that bag of pretzels.
I can have one large fry from McDonald's. Stop it.
You're crazy.
I just fasted for 48 hours. I can have this. No, cut it out. That's how you got the 20. You didn't do that. Stop that shit.
Owners. When I asked them what the secret to their success was, the overwhelming majority answered tenacity. Be the last person standing. Wear down your obstacles and excuses and fears and doubts until they're finally like, you? Again? Jesus H. Christ. Fine, here you go. Now get out of my face. Birthing your dreams is like giving birth. Conceiving the idea is the fun part, hopefully. Then you go through insane amounts of fear and excitement and dreaming and planning and vomiting and growing and thinking you're crazy and thinking you're awesome and stretching and shape-shifting until you're practically unrecognizable to everyone, even your own self. Along the way, you clean up your puke and massage your aching back and apologize to all the people whose heads you ripped off in a hormonal killing spree, but you stay the course because you know this baby of yours is going to be the bomb. Then, finally, just when you can see a light at the end of the tunnel, labor starts. Your innards twist and strangle and force you to around hunched over in the shape of the letter C, while you breathe and pray and curse, and just when you think it can't get any more out of your mind painful, a giant baby head squeezes out of a tiny hole in your body. Then, a full-blown miracle appears. In order to change your life and start living a new one that you've never lived before, your faith in miracles and yourself must be greater than your fear. However easy or rough your birth process is, you have to be willing to fall down, get up, look stupid, cry, laugh, make a mess, clean it up, and not stop until you get there. No matter what.
Facts.
5, love yourself. You can do any. Chapter 24, money, your new best.
Have you picked up on the fact that she ends all of those with love yourself?
Yeah.
She keeps fading out on the same one.
Friend.
So
I worked for a menial hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I asked of life would have willingly paid. Anonymous.
Yeah, that's one of
Many
my
years
favorite.
ago, Los Angeles was hit by a relentless rainstorm, the likes of which I'd never seen in my life. It rained for what seemed like 40 days and 40 nights, nonstop and hard. Rivers overflowed, houses slid down hillsides, bad hair wreaked chaos throughout the most image-conscious city in the world. This was the kind of rain you didn't want to be driving around in anything, let alone a 23-year-old junker convertible with a leaky roof, no grill, a back window that was duct taped shut, and a front tire that went flat every 3 days. I'd been in the market for a new car for a long time and couldn't find anything I really loved or thought I could afford. But as I sat there in a puddle, driving to the supermarket with a trash bag under my ass and an old t-shirt slammed in the door to keep the leaking to a minimum, it occurred to me that perhaps I should speed up my search. At the time, I didn't have a whole lot of money, but I had my own business that I was trying to grow. The problem was I felt stuck in that place where even though I wanted bigger and better things for myself monetarily, as well as feeling more mighty and self-actualized in general, I was worried that if I raised my prices, I'd lose all my clients and my self-respect, or that I'd get called out as a money-grubbing pig or a fraud who had no right to charge that much. I was also scared that if I went big and grew my business, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I'd have to hire tons of people, spend my time doing things I hated, and get so busy I'd never get to travel again. Basically, that I'd wither and die trapped behind my computer, fun and freedom skidding away in my rearview mirror, never to be seen again. Blah, blah, blah. I could talk for about 4 more hours explaining why I was where I was, but suffice it to say, I was basically playing at the level of someone who drives around in a car like the one I was driving around. And the most painful part really was that even though all signs pointed to broke, clueless, and stuck, deep down I knew I could be doing so much better. Which is why, Even though the sound of crickets could be heard echoing throughout my empty bank account, I wandered into the Audi dealership, took the brand new Q5 for a spin, and let the sales guy rattle on and on about leather this and premium that. In my head, I was thinking, do you have any idea who I am? I'm just taking a fantasy break before heading over to Honda. But in my heart, I knew better. Way down deep, it was about much more than just a damn car. It was about no longer being the kind of person who takes what she can get and finally becoming the kind of person who creates exactly what she wants. It was large, Marge. And because part of me was terrified to grow and part of me wanted to blast out and be huge, and also because I love to drive more than I love to eat, I tortured myself over which car to buy for weeks. I finally whittled it down to two options. The Honda CR-V, a perfectly excellent little SUV with all the following attributes. Okay gas mileage, a sunroof, room for friends, a comfy ride, a ho-hum stereo, reasonably fun to drive, decently priced. Or the Audi Q5, a stick of butter on four wheels with the following attributes. Okay gas mileage, a sunroof that takes up the entire roof of the car, room for friends, big, fat, and tall ones, leather seats you could have a sexual relationship with, a stereo designed by God himself, angels sing when you open this, sexy, flashy, expensive, pretentious, terrifying. I came very close to buying the Honda, but as I sat there, test driving it for the 10th time, trying to convince myself that this was the one, I couldn't share the truth that I was in love with someone else. Buying the Honda would have been the sensible thing to do, but I knew that adventure, true love, and a whole new way of life awaited me on the other side of my comfort zone. Blasting through this comfort zone is what I want to talk about here. Purchasing the Audi should have had me waking up screaming in the middle of the night, because it costs the kind of money I would normally only consider spending on something like mandatory heart surgery, certainly not on something as frivolous as a car. But after I bought it, I slept like a baby, because once I made the decision to buy it, I also made the decision to get over my shit and become the kind of person who can make the kind of money to buy that kind of car, or who can do anything else I want to do. I almost instantly came up with a way to pay off the Audi, and am certain that if I'd bought the Honda, I'd still be struggling to pay for it. Because I'd still be playing small, I'd still be in the mindset that I can't afford more, that I'm the kind of person who has to struggle to get whatever she can, that I can't break out of my mold and go get something completely quote unquote out of my reach, etc. When you up-level your idea of what's possible and decide to really go for it, you open yourself up to the means to accomplish it as well. I'm not talking about going out and recklessly blowing all your money on stupid crap. I'm talking about expanding your beliefs about what is available to you in all areas of your life. And for the purposes of this chapter, I'm going to focus on what kind of money you believe is here for you to purchase the things and experiences you truly desire. Whether or not the money is currently in your bank account is irrelevant. I didn't have the money either when I bought my new car. When you're available to play a bigger game, i.e., quit your home job and invest in your own business, buy a new house, send your kids to private school, hire a coach, hire a house cleaner, buy a new mattress, etc., you either need to pay for it with the money you have or manifest the money if you don't have it already. And manifesting it is going to be pretty damn hard if you insist that not only is it not there for you, but that you aren't the kind of person who could ever make it or pay it off if you borrowed it. In order to transform your life, you may have to spend the money you do have, get a loan, sell something, borrow from a friend, put it on your credit card, or manifest it in some other way, which is going to go against some pretty deep-seated beliefs we've all been raised with about how going into debt is irresponsible. Unless it's a student loan, of course, because for some reason we've decided in that case, and that case only, it's okay. This is about taking a leap of faith into a new realm that you strongly desire to be in, demanding of yourself that you rise to the occasion and start living your damn life already. After I took my great leap into luxury car land, I made multiple six figures with my business for the first time ever, began traveling the world on a regular basis, got my third book deal, made huge donations, for me anyway, to causes I'm really passionate about, and helped my clients achieve similar personal bests too. Here's the thing. Making money isn't only about the money. Just as losing weight isn't only about losing weight, and finding your soulmate isn't only about finding your soulmate. It's about who you become and what you believe is possible for yourself. Money is currency, and currency is energy.
Facts, and more facts.
As we've discussed, we live in a universe that is vibrating with energy. Our universe is abundant, and everything you desire is here, in this moment, waiting for you to shift your energy and receive it, money included. Money is energy like anything else.
Heads up, and to you too, DZ, there's only about 20 minutes left in this book, so if it's all the same, I'm just gonna ride it out and let it finish, because we're at the end, we're at the end of the week, and I want to go into the art of giving a fuck next week.
Okay.
So let's finish it out.
Yeah, let's get it, man.
And when you're operating at a high frequency with no resistance to it and take right action, you can manifest the money you desire. We all know that we have to work to make money. We've been taught that all our lives. But what we're not taught is that we must also align our energy with the financial abundance we seek. In other words, act as if you're where you want to be. Don't hang out with sad sacks and people who whine about how broke they are all the time.
Wow.
Erase the words "I can't" from your vocabulary.
That's right.
Envision what you desire, set goals, and demand of yourself that you become who you need to become to create the life you desire. Our relationship to money is just as important as the action we take to manifest it, which is one reason why so many people who work their asses off their whole lives, but who have lousy energy around money, are left wondering why they have nothing to show for it. Here's a little one-sided dialogue that may or may not sound familiar to you. Yay! I think out with too. Wait, what? You think I'm the root of all evil? How can you say that? All you talk about is how you wish you had more of me, even though you're scared to admit you like me. And you say I'm not there for you. And you think people who like me are greedy pigs. Yet you get so ecstatic whenever I show up. And you work so hard to get me to come over. But I keep you in a constant state of worry. And you hate dealing with me. And no matter what I do, it's never enough. One minute you act like you'll die without me, and the next I make you feel like a filthy whore. You know what? I'm done. See you later, freak. Considering that this, or some version of this, is the sort of relationship most people have with money, I don't think the question is, why can't we make the kind of money we want? I think the better question is, how the hell do we expect to? Most people have such conflicted feelings around money that they turn it into a full-on circus, rivaled only by the equally popular freak shows surrounding religion and sex. All three are crammed to the brim with issues and anxieties and staunch fight-to-the-death beliefs that cause them to bring so much sadness to the world. Meanwhile, if everyone would just chill out, sex, money, and religion could be the leading causes of joy. Silly, ain't we? In order to bring money joyfully into our lives, we have to understand that we're having a relationship with it, and then treat it like any other important and meaningful relationship. We need to pay attention to it, want it, nurture it, put effort into it, respect it, cherish it, love it, etc. Ridding yourself of your fear and loathing of money, be it conscious or subconscious, is essential if you want to make any. I was extremely poverty proud for so long. I felt I was so much nobler in my pursuit of art and fun and altruism than those people who wasted their lives just going after money. No way in hell was I going to sacrifice my awesome life just to chase the filthy dollar. No, instead I was going to choose between having health insurance or a place to live. I was going to spend precious time that I could have spent making money, driving an extra 30 blocks to the gas station where I could save 3 cents a gallon, sifting through piles of clothes in search of the gems at Goodwill, clipping coupons, hunting down sales, researching which bars had free food at happy hour, productive things like that. In my quest to make money an inconsequential part of my life, I was basically thinking about it more than anyone who actually had money ever thought about it. What I didn't realize was that it's not an either-or situation. I could make great money and keep my integrity and have more fun and make more art and help more people and make a bigger difference in the world. Oh, I just had to get over myself. I had to stop working with the equation that wanting/having money equals greedy scumbag. And I had to get a freaking plan. First rule of wealth consciousness: come from a place of abundance, not lack. When we say we want money for something, we often come from a place of, I don't have it, it does not exist, so I need to create it. This has us focusing on and believing in lack, thereby lowering our frequency and attracting more lack.
Wow.
When we say, I am manifesting $5,000 to go on a trip to Italy, you just watch me, our faith in the yet unseen is strong and our frequency is high. Thus, so is our ability to attract money. This is why buying a car worked so well for me. It forced me to face my fears and strengthen my faith because I bought it before I had the proof that the money was there.
What have I been manifesting? Becoming there in the lottery. It's going to happen.
Yep.
I don't see the money, but I believe it's there and it will be mine, damn it. This abundance is available to everyone, including you, regardless of what your life looks like at this very moment. Some people are born into cushy lives full of trust funds and connections and opportunities and fancy educations. Some of these people go on to make great financial successes of their lives, and some of these people don't. Some people are born into extreme poverty and live in cardboard box houses by the side of a freeway. Some of these people go on to make great financial successes of their lives, and some of these people don't. While their obstacles and initial childhood impressions about money can be extremely different, those who achieve success share one key thing: the belief that they can be, do, and have whatever they set their minds to accomplishing. Your beliefs hold the key to your financial success. Believe that you can have what you desire, that it really truly already exists, and then go out and get it. Once you understand that we live in an abundant universe, you can also drop the limiting belief that you serve the world better by not taking too much for yourself or by getting too big. Your playing small simply withholds your gifts from the people who are meant to receive them, including you. Can you imagine if your favorite musicians never let themselves make enough money to buy guitars or take lessons or hire producers or buy purple platform boots and tight sparkly pants or pay thousands of dollars for studio time so they could record the songs that saved your ass in high school? Or if the people who build airplanes refuse to make the money they need to pay for the research and the materials and the factories and the engineers and the electricity and whatever plethora of other costly things that go into building the miraculous flying machines that allow us to travel the world, hang out on tropical beaches, and visit the people we love so dearly? The more you have, the more you have to share. There's plenty of money to go around. You not letting yourself make it doesn't save more for other people, just as you making it doesn't take it away from them. The only reason you should feel gross about accepting money for a product or a service is if you're scamming someone, not or giving them what you said you would, or if you're causing harm in some other way.
Oh, wow.
It's all about contributing to the world by making life easier, happier, safer, healthier, better, healthier, more beautiful, more fun, more interesting, more thoughtful, more loving. Whatever you do, bring something good to the party. If you're coming from a place of integrity, any icky feelings you have about not deserving the wealth you desire are a waste of time, just as any icky feelings you have about money itself are a waste of time. Greedy people do greedy things for money, so don't go getting all up in money's face and blame it for their lousy behavior. Here's a brilliant little spanking in this department from author-speaker Marianne Williamson that I recently heard in a talk she gave. Having money is like anything else, a tool. And if you see it that way, making it not just about you, but about a way that you can play a part in the dynamic by which money is used for the betterment of all things, then having money is not only a blessing, it's a responsibility. Having money is a responsibility. Let your inner money critic chew on that one for a while, okay? Second rule of wealth consciousness: get clear on where you're at. Write a little ditty about how you feel about money. Get clear on all your craziness around it, because trust me, If you don't have any money, you definitely have some crazy. Write something along the lines of, so the truth is, I don't really trust money. I want lots of it so I can do whatever I want and make big changes in the world, but I don't believe it'll come to me. Or that if it does, it won't stick around. It never has. I resent needing it. I think people who make it are evil and have bad priorities. I ignore it because I hate dealing with it. I wouldn't know what to do with it if I made it anyway. If it's easier, pretend money is a person and write it as if you're writing a letter to someone. Just get it on the page so you can look at it. Then break it down, sentence by sentence, and expose your drama around money for the award-winning performance that it is. For example, I don't believe money will come to me. Has it ever? I guess so. Can you imagine a specific time and a specific amount that came to you that was really helpful and enjoyable? Yes, I was a graphic designer for 5 years. I got to work on a lot of really cool projects with great people, making good money. Any other times? Have you had other jobs or monetary gifts or dividends? Yes. Can you list off 5 to 10 significant times that money came to you? Okay. So if it came to you all these many times, is it possible that it could come to you again? Yeah. Can you change your belief from money doesn't come to me to money does come to me? Fine. Yes, I can. Now that you see the truth, focus on money coming to you. Imagine receiving all the money you need, visualize how you'll spend it, and feel it in your bones. Change your story from money doesn't come to me.
That's huge.
To money comes to me all the time. Make this an affirmation that you walk around saying in your mind out loud, that you write down, read over.
That is a habit that I have done. And it's so funny because I ran in the other room and I told Jen, I said, you know, we've done that, right? The apartment that we live in, the car that we're driving. A few years ago, we were paying half the rent that we're paying and we were riding around in a beat up car, never thinking that we would be able to do something else until we made the commitment to do it. And I said, do you realize what we're doing and where we are and what we have? And somehow we're paying for it.
Yep.
And I said, we did what the hell she just said, you know? So yeah, that $1 million is on its way.
No, it's on its way, man. Yeah.
And tape to your bathroom mirror. Drill it into your brain and your bones. Another example. I resent needing.
Now, I'm not going to go rent a penthouse or anything, but, you know.
How come? Because I never have enough to do what I want. Is this true?
She just said, how
have
come?
You ever had enough money to do what you want? Well, there have been some times where I've had the money. So is it true that you never have enough money to do what you want? No. And when you have the money you need to do what you want, do you resent needing it? Not really. How does it feel when you have it and you spend it on something you're really excited about buying for you or someone else? Pretty cool, actually. So is it true you resent needing it? No. Once you've caught yourself in your big fat lie, focus on what it would feel like to spend money lavishly on yourself or the people you love or a cause you're passionate about or whatever, and really feel it in your bones. Imagine receiving it and feel yourself filling up with gratitude for it coming to you. Be grateful to money for the awesome tool it is and for allowing you to feel so good. Replace the story, I resent needing money, with I'm grateful to money for helping me live such an awesome life. Start healing your relationship with money. Sit your broke ass down and write a letter to money and then break it down sentence by sentence like I just did. Really do this, please, and create some new money affirmations. Repeat your new affirmations and feel them in your bones. Walk around thinking about how much you love, love, love money. Did hearing that just make you throw up a little bit in your mouth? You're going against some seriously deeply ingrained beliefs here. Money is incredibly loaded for most people. So if you want to get over your issues and start making money, spend some time on this. You are rewriting a story that was written in blood by you and generations before you that you've been buying into your whole life. So it's going to take some effort to rewrite it and start living it. Third rule of wealth consciousness: clear on where you desire to be. We all need money. Ourselves, buy clothes, get shelter, water, medicine, etc. Once it goes beyond basic survival, however, and we get into the arena of how much money we unquote need, if we've got terror over what it means to have it, and will think of us if we do, hell is going to break loose. None of us need more than the basics to survive. But if we're talking about blossoming into the fullest expressions of our best selves in an abundant universe, we do. Which is why I'm assuming you're listening to this book instead of one on how to distinguish edible berries from poisonous ones. You don't want to merely survive, you want to thrive in every, including the area of financial support. Being wealthy means having the resources to provide yourself with everything you need and desire to share your gifts with the world as your biggest, badassiest. This means being wealthy psychologically, spiritually, and energetically, as well as materially. Let's say you've got your own clothing company. You need money to have a space to create your designs. You need to pay for materials, manufacturing, shipping, payroll, marketing, and all the other expenses of running your business. That's obvious. But you also need to feel healthy, happy, and good so you can do your best work and bring the most awesome to your customers. Maybe you need to live and work in a place you love, hires you, or hire assistants so you're not exhausted and spread, or do things that fill you with happiness, and buy, or join a gym, get a puppy, or buy own noses for everyone in your office. Maybe you want to give 20% of your income to help drill water wells in Africa, as well as hire more staff so you can donate some time to doing charity work. It counts. Feeling like you deserve the things that make you the happiest and best version of yourself, greedy or is asking too much, ultimately rips off the rest of the world aren't being fully supported and, as a result, aren't sharing your highest frequency with the world.
Facts.
Be your best, do your best, demand the best, expect the best, receive the best, and put your best out into the world so everyone can do. Think of it this way. Would you rather a world where everyone feels happy and well taken care of and aspires to be the best they can be? Or would you rather be in a world where fear and shame and scrimp and hold themselves back? What would each scenario do to your energy? Things you can do to improve the world is to improve yourself. It's a grassroots effort. So if you need money to improve your life, get over it already and go get yourself some. Because this isn't just about, in order to go get some money, get very clear on what kind of life will make you truly happy. Be honest. What kind of experiences and possessions will support you in the work you want to do and in the kind of life you'd love to live? If you're truly happy living a simple life in a yurt, surrounded by people you love, trading little trinkets you've carved out of cow bones for food, and making just enough to get by, that's one thing. But pretending you don't want more than you already have because you can't afford it or feel guilty and pretentious for wanting it, that is called being a weenie. Determine what your personal, truest version of success looks like. No comparing yourself to others, please. Figure out how much it will cost, and then set out with steadfast determination to manifest the money you need to create it. Fourth rule of wealth consciousness: raise your frequency. Money on its own means nothing. A $100 bill sitting on a table is a piece of paper. It's the energy that makes it relevant. That $100 could have been slipped into a birthday card from your granny. You could have stolen it from your best friend when she was.
What'd you say?
Mulling it over and over with equally broke friends and my therapist.
What you just said about money and feeling like envisioning what type of life you want. Like, I made a commitment to myself, and Sister J, I told you that before. Like, I made a commitment to myself. By next year, I don't want to be working for the man. I want to be working for myself. And the things I'm doing, like trading and the options trading, I'm going to talk to you about that I'm doing that will allow me to have my own income in the long term. And what type of life I want to have after. I want to be able to do what I want. Wake up in the morning, having to answer to a boss, and do the things I want to do. I be able to dedicate myself to my family and everything. Now, how
Yeah.
much money do I need to live a lavish life? No, I don't. But maybe in a more affordable um, apartment that I do have right now than before, and making sure that I I surround myself with the right resources, the right environment, where I'm able to have that sort of life and everything. So for me, like when I decided to set my mind to it and make sure that I dedicate all this year to making sure that I'm able to walk away from my job and have a life of passive income, really.
Yeah, because make no mistake, Jen and I definitely are still experiencing growing pains, but
Yeah,
we made the decision to make the move, even though we really could not afford it at the time and still can't, but we're making it work, which means we've already elevated ourselves to maintain this level, even though it's a struggle right now.
yeah,
But that's what she's saying. You have to take the step. You can't just sit back and wish for it. It's going to be uncomfortable because you're growing. And
yeah.
anytime you're growing, you got to step outside your comfort zone and do things that maybe you can't afford so that you now have to make now we have to make this life comfortable.
Exactly.
And then when that gets comfortable, elevate again.
Exactly. There's a reason why everybody is not able to do it because everybody's uncomfortable doing it.
It's
You
a
know,
mindset.
it's a mind thing, But once you settle yourself in the mind, everything else will flow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and click her back on. I hit the button and put it back at the beginning by accident, so I'm guesstimating where we were. But if it sounds like we heard it before, I'm gonna go ahead and push it forward a little bit.
All right, no problem.
Our faith in the yet unseen is strong and our frequency is high. Thus, so is our ability to attract money. This is why buying the car worked so well for me.
Okay, it was about right there.
And strengthen my faith because I bought it before I had the proof that the money was there.
Right.
I don't see the money, but I believe it's there and it will be mine, damn it. This abundance is available to everyone, including you, regardless of what your life looks like at this very moment. Some people are born into trust funds and connections, opportunities, and fancy educations. Some of these people go on to make great financial successes of their lives, and some of these people don't. Some people are born into and live in cardboard box houses by the side of a freeway. Some of these people go on to make financial successes of their lives. People don't. While their obstacles and initial childhood impressions about money are extremely different, those who achieve success share one key thing: the belief that they can be, do, and have whatever they set their minds to accomplishing. Your beliefs hold the key to your financial success. Believe that you can have what you desire, that it really truly already exists. Once you understand that we live in an abundant universe,
Facts.
you can also drop the limiting belief that you serve the world better by not taking too much for yourself or by getting too big. Your playing small simply withholds your gifts from the people who were meant to receive them, including
Facts.
you. Can you imagine if your favorite musicians never let themselves make enough money to buy guitars or take lessons or hire producers or buy purple platform boots and tight sparkly pants or pay thousands of dollars for studio time so they could record the songs that saved your ass in high school? Or if the people who build airplanes refuse to make the money they need to pay for the research and the materials and the factories and the engineers and the electricity and whatever plethora of other costly things that go into building the miraculous flying machines that allow us to travel the world, hang out on tropical beaches, and visit the people we love so dearly? The more you have, the more you have to share. There's plenty of money to go around. You not letting yourself make it doesn't save more for other people, just as you making it doesn't take it away from them. The only reason you should feel gross about accepting money for a product or a service,
I know we heard before, but it's over, so I'm just letting it play.
Or if you're causing harm in some other way. It's all about contributing to the world by making life easier, happier, safer, healthier, better, tastier, more beautiful, more fun, more interesting, more thoughtful, more loving. Whatever you do, bring something good to the party. If you're coming from a place of integrity Any icky feelings you
Party
have
over
about
here.
not having the wealth you desire are a waste of time, just as any icky feelings you have about money itself are a waste of time. Greedy people do greedy things for money, so don't go getting all up in money's face and blame it for their lousy behavior. Here's a brilliant little spanking in this department from author-speaker Marianne Williamson.
I always say money's not the root of all evil, greed is.
That I recently heard in a talk she gave. Having money is like anything else, a tool. And if you see it that way, making it not just about you, but about a way that you can play a part in the dynamic by which money is used for the betterment of all things, then having money is not only a blessing, it's a responsibility. Having money is a responsibility. Let your inner money critic chew on that one for a while, okay? Second rule of wealth consciousness. Get clear on where you're at. Write a little ditty about how you feel about money. Get clear on all your craziness around it, because trust me, if you don't have any money, you definitely have some crazy. Write something along the lines of, so the truth is, I don't really trust money. I want lots of it so I can do whatever I want and make big changes in the world, but I don't believe it'll come to me. Or that if it does, it won't stick around. It never has. I resent needing it. I think people who make it are evil and have bad priorities. I ignore it because I hate dealing with it. I wouldn't know what to do with it if I made it anyway. If it's easier, pretend money is a person and write it as if you're writing a letter to someone. Just get it on the page so you can look at it. Then break it down, sentence by sentence, and expose your drama around money for the award-winning performance that it is. For example, I don't believe money will come to me. Has it ever? I guess so. Can you imagine a specific time and a specific amount that came to you that was really helpful and enjoyable? Yes. I was a graphic designer for 5 years. I got to work on a lot of really cool projects with great people, making good money. Any other times? Have you had other jobs or monetary gifts or dividends? Yes. Can you list off 5 to 10 significant times that money came to you? Okay. So if it came to you all these many times, is it possible that it could come to you again? Yeah. Can you change your belief from money doesn't come to me to money does come to me? Fine. Yes, I can. Now that you see the truth, focus on money coming to you. Imagine receiving all the money you need, visualize how you'll spend it, and feel it in your bones. Change your story from money doesn't come to me to money comes to me all the time. Make this an affirmation that you walk around saying in your mind out loud, that you write down, read over and over, and tape to your bathroom mirror. Drill it into your brain and your bones. Another example. I resent needing it.
There's a habit I developed years ago after I first saw The Secret. If I find any money at all, whenever I receive money, I say money comes to me easily, freely, frequently, and abundantly. And like if I find a dollar or a penny on the ground, I pick it up and I say that. Whenever money comes to me that I've asked the universe for, I say that. And whenever I receive money at all, I say money comes to me easily, freely, frequently, and abundantly. And I don't just say the empty words. Because I've received money, it's very easy in that moment for me to believe what I'm saying because I just received it.
Just received it, yeah.
And what happens is an inertia. Because you believe what you're saying and you've put yourself in that frequency of receiving money, it continues. So whenever I find myself not having the money I need, I realize somewhere along the line, I changed my frequency to lack. Damn it, I don't have it. I don't have this. I can't afford that. I've been saying that recently. You know that.
Yep.
So when I change my frequency back to money comes easily, frequently, freely, and abundant, it'll come. So it works. She's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I've experienced that. It works.
No, she's definitely right about that. I mean, I've been in so many instances where I receive money, from whether it's a friend or somebody, or I see it on the streets, and I just pick it up.
And I find and inversely too. If I find a wallet, for example, that belongs to someone, I've had it a lot of times. And one time there's a guy that lost his wallet and he had his green card and everything. Long story short, I ended up returning to him the wallet. The wallet had like a few $100s and everything there, and I ended up returning to him. And with the green card, and the guy was like, "Man, if you need me to help you with moving your stuff, let me know," because he owned a moving company. So when I ended up moving from Washington, he helped me do that for free. I didn't need to pay for anything. And those moving companies are pretty expensive to move things from your house. They charge a pretty hefty price, but he did that for free. So I ended up benefiting from such an experience because I didn't need to pay for it. But I ended up making somebody's day, and saving pretty much that guy's life because
That's awesome.
documentation. Yeah, yeah. So
That's
it
awesome.
goes a long way for sure.
How come? Because I never have enough to do what I want. Is this true?
That's funny. I ended up coming in right where I did before.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Have you ever had enough money to do what you want? Well, there have been some times where I've had the money. So is it true that you never have enough money to do what you want? No. And when you have the money you need to do what you want, do you resent needing it? Not really. How does it feel when you have it and you spend it on something you're really excited about buying for you or someone else? Pretty cool, actually. So is it true you resent needing it? No. Once you've caught yourself in your big fat lie, focus on what it would feel like to spend money lavishly on yourself or the people you love or a cause you're passionate about or whatever, and really feel it in your bones. Imagine receiving it and feel yourself filling up with gratitude for it coming to you. Be grateful to money for the awesome tool it is for allowing you to feel so good. Replace the story, "I resent needing money," with, "I'm grateful to money for helping me live such an awesome life." Start healing your relationship with money. Sit your broke ass down and write a letter to money and then break it down sentence by sentence like I just did. Really do this, please, and create some new money affirmations. Repeat your new affirmations and feel them in your bones. Walk around thinking about how much you love, love, love money. Did hearing that just make you throw up a little bit in your mouth? You're going against some seriously deeply ingrained beliefs here. Money is incredibly loaded for most people. So if you want to get over your issues and start making money, spend some time on this. You are rewriting a story that was written in blood by you and generations before you that you've been buying into your whole life. So it's going to take some effort to rewrite it and start living it. Third rule of wealth consciousness: get clear on where you desire to be. We all need money. We need it to feed ourselves, buy clothes, get shelter, water, medicine, etc. Once it goes beyond basic survival, however, and we get into the arena of how much money we quote unquote need, if we've got guilt and judgment and terror over what it means to have it and what people will think of us if we do, this is where all hell is going to break loose. Of course, none of us need more than the basics to survive. But if we're talking about blossoming into the fullest expressions of our best selves in an abundant universe, we do. Which is why I'm assuming you're listening to this book instead of one on how to distinguish edible berries from poisonous ones. You don't want to merely survive, you want to thrive in every area of your life, including the area of financial support. Being wealthy means having the
Shout out to Uncle Ray. Found Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty of all charges. Nice. I have no idea who Kyle Rittenhouse is.
Yeah.
Then he said possession is 9/10 of the law. If I find somebody's purse, that's my purse. Shame on you, Uncle Vern.
Uncle Bird is funny,
What's
man.
Kyle Rittenhouse?
It's, I would say, like, if you read more about it, because it's, I've also, like, don't know crazy too much about the situation, but apparently he shot like two guys, in but it's there's a
I'll look it up.
look it up. I mean, there are two sides to the story. I'm not gonna take either one because liberals say one thing, Republicans say one thing. I only care about the truth at the end of the day and the facts. So, I'm not
Right.
trying to I'm not trying to be swayed by any narrative. I just want to hear what the truth is. So I will say, yeah, just read about it, and yeah, we can talk about it. You know, on another stream if you want. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Resources to provide yourself with everything you need. Desire to share your gifts with the world as your biggest, badassiest self. It means being wealthy psychologically, spiritually, and energetically, as well as materially. Let's say you've got your own clothing company. You need money to have a space to create your designs. You need to pay for materials, manufacturing, shipping, payroll, marketing, and all the other expenses of running your business. That's obvious. But you also need to feel healthy, happy, and good so you can do your best work and bring it to your customers. Maybe you need to live and work in a place you love, or hire assistants so you're not exhausted and spread thin, or do things that fill you with happiness, like travel and buy your friends dinner, or join a gym, or buy clown noses for everyone in your office. Maybe you want to give 20% of your income to help drill water wells in Africa, as well as hire more staff so you can donate some time to doing charity work. It all counts. Feeling like you don't deserve the things that make you the happiest and best version of yourself because it's greedy or is asking too much ultimately rips off the rest of the world because you aren't being fully supported.
Okay, so I am going to stop it here because I miscalculated. There's actually an hour left, and I've got other things to do. I can't be on here that much longer. So, yeah, that is. Let me timestamp it. So we are at. Yeah, we're at 4 minutes and 54 seconds, and the book is actually. 4 hours and 54. So the book is actually 5 hours and 42 minutes long. So there's like another hour left. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just come on tomorrow morning at 11:30 and finish the book out.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that would be great. I really enjoyed this session, sis.
Yeah, me too. I got a lot out of it. I appreciate you coming on, DZ. As always, my brother, I love doing streams with you. You know that. Shout out to everybody in the New Media family. Shout out to Party Over Here family. Hashtag Party Over Here. Hashtag Ear Party. Make sure you share if you care on all forms of social media. And spread the word, man. We're over here trying to heal our minds and try to get our minds right because we are in trying times, y'all. And there's a lot of things that are going on. And if you don't have your mind right and you don't feel good about yourself from the inside out, then you're just going to contribute to the problem instead of the solution.
Exactly.
So, DZ, any closing words, my brother, before we get out of here?
Oh man, all in all, it's just love you so much. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come through. It's been amazing, and shout out to the whole New Media gang. Shout out to Tap In. Shout out to Bald Online Podcast Mozart. Shout out to Vegan Knowledge JJ. Tap In to True Love for Hoop Culture, Soft Made. Everyone, man, that came through Queen Royalty. Kudos for kudos. Everyone, man, thank you so much. I truly enjoyed having these, listening with you and discussing with you because those are the things that heal me, and they heal a lot of us too. So what you're doing, sister, is really great, and truly love you for that.
Thank you, DZ. Shout out to all the family. Oodles and Koodles, I'm so glad you spun through today. I'm glad when you come through. And Ball Don't Lie, Queen, my baby, Tap, Self, Uncle Vern. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your support so much. And we are out.
Been listening to the Midday Meltdown Party Over Here with J&J Video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're feeling the vibe, and please share if you care on all forms of social media. You can support the content on this channel by donating to the Cash App link that's been provided in the description of this video. Thanks again for listening. Peace and blessings.